You can buy a luxury, or you can build it. I know you're thinking that that's outside your reach, but believe me when I tell you, you can build beautiful things. Because there was a time I thought projects like this were outside of my reach too. Most people look at floating shelves and assume you need a big shop, expensive tools, and years of experience. Meanwhile, this is my setup most days. Table saw outside, miter saw outside, saw horses everywhere, trying to move tools around just to make enough room to work. But the truth is, most woodworking actually happens in garages, driveways, small sheds, crowded corners, not giant dream shops. First thing up, this board needs to be flat. And to be honest, it's one of those things that confused me a lot when I was starting. I thought that you ran the board through a planer and magically it was flat. Unfortunately, that is not the case. The planer makes a board parallel, one side of the board parallel to the other side. If the board isn't flat now, it will extract its pound of flesh later. Ask me how I know. So you need to use a flattening sled and hot glue, make one side flat. And then you can take it out of the sled, run the other side through the planer, and now you have a flat board. Let's face it, real wood has flaws. Knots, cracks, movement. That's all part of what makes it real in the first place. So instead of cutting around it, I wanted to work with it. Pour epoxy, embrace the character, and allow that board to be the way God made it. Just stabilized. Woodworking projects are just small steps stacked together. One cut, one adjustment, one fit check. You learn the steps and build confidence in those, and woodworking just gets easier. Next up, we're building the aprons and cutting the French cleats to mount the shelves with. French cleats sound way more complicated than they really are. Beginner hears terms like that and immediately think advanced woodworking, or I can't do that. But most woodworking gets easier once somebody slows it down and explains it. That's really what I want this channel to become. Then it becomes a new set of steps that you can add to your resume. Learning all these techniques is what makes woodworking easier, more approachable, something that you can do. And now my favorite part. This is the point where projects start to feel real. Up until now, it looks like random parts and pieces laying all over your shop. Then poof, your vision is on the bench. Now all it needs is finish sanding, round over those edges, applying the finish, and finally enjoying the grain speaking to you. There's nothing like it. This project has kicked me in the teeth more than once. I'm glad it did, because that's real woodworking. I ended up making a mistake with the cleats, and I left that mistake in this video because that is real woodworking. I had to back up, cut new ones, redo the work. So unfortunately, I got to show you a little bit of woodworking reality. I'll show you the mistake I made here. Essentially, I thought on the table saw I was cutting 30 degrees, for this cleat, I actually cut 60, which makes it too flat. And in reality, this is what we get. So I'm taking this piece off and recut this cleat to be 45, and we'll get that fixed. So here we go. Now the real fun, we got to get this piece off. It's glued. So first thing I did is try to separate the two a little bit with a knife, utility blade, just to kind of open that seam. So now we'll cut a couple of new ones and remount them. People need to see that side of woodworking more, because a lot of YouTube channels edit that out. A huge part of woodworking is just problem solving. I can promise you that a woodworker that says they have never made a mistake is either lying or they've not been messing with wood for very long. People who learn to recover from mistakes without quitting, those are woodworkers. So full transparency, I do sell the stuff that I build. And honestly, I just want more people to appreciate real handmade things. Whether they support real craftsmen or realize they're capable of making beautiful things with their own hands. Because somewhere along the way, we started believing nice things only came from a store. Somewhere, we got convinced it was just easier to buy things. And maybe that's why we stopped building things too. But that is why things have become disposable and not heirlooms. I think handmade matters. The time, the effort, and the stories behind them matter too. From my perspective, whether you buy them from somebody who makes them or you learn to build them yourself, that is a win either way. So that's really why I build. Handmade things change how a home feels. They mean something different when you built them yourselves. You'll always remember the story behind them. And I think more homes need that again. More handmade things, more personal things, more stories attached to the stuff around us every day. That's the kind of woodworking that I want more of. And hopefully, the kind of woodworking that this community keeps building together. Until next time, get in the shop and be a maker.